Back with Governor Baker and the OTR Pop Quiz. Question 3, prices at the pump are rising rapidly. Projections of $3 a gallon by the time we hit Memorial Day. If the Massachusetts gas tax is 24 cents a gallon, what is the federal gas tax? Massachusetts is 24 point whatever. It's a little over 24 cents. What's the federal tax?
That's a number I know you know well.
I don't know what the
18.4 cents per gallon.
All right, that's what I thought it was. I wasn't sure.
It's 24.5 for diesel. Question 4.
By the way, if it really gets to $3 by Memorial Day, it's around $2.65 now. That's a big jump in a
short
2-week period.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Question 4 deals with the RMV. The RMV is still struggling with new system for issuing driver's licenses. The registry's wait time objective used to be serving 80% of the people within 30 minutes. What is the RMV's revised service time timeline?
Well, first of all, that 80% number was the number that we put in place when we took office. This administration did not start there, and I want to give a shout out to all the people at the registry who got us to the point where literally 90% of the people almost were in and out in less than 30 minutes, which was great. The implementation of Real ID, the new system, and lawful presence requirements for a regular license in Massachusetts all at once was a big lift, and everybody knew it. But in the past week, they got to the point where about 80% of the people were in and out in an hour or less, and about 55% were in or out in 30 minutes or less. But from where I sit and my point of view, I think our goal ought to be to get back to where we were.
Are you happy with how long it's taken?
By the way, that was the answer you were looking for. You nailed the answer. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's excuse me. Are you happy with the way they've done it so far, or do you think they should have implemented this faster?
The system they were replacing had been in place since 1986. It was actually installed in October of 1986. And for your viewing audience, that would be about the same time Bill Buckner, Calvin Schiraldi, and Bob Stanley all became legends here in the Commonwealth against the Mets.
For various reasons.
That system had been in place for a long time, and the thing to understand about it, it was a keyboard system, right? No mouse, no drop-down menus, nothing.
But there were a lot of problems, and that could have been anticipated as well.
Oh, but they did anticipate a lot of their problems.
Well, I was a victim of some of the problems, and I have to tell you, the problem for me specifically could have been avoided. So my question to you is not about me, but are you happy with the way it rolled out, or do you think it could have been smoother?
I think, look, you can always do something like this better. And we learned a lot from the process. And people are implementing things they're learning every day, which is why we're at the point now where 80% of the people are in and out in an hour. But a big part of the some here was not just the system upgrade, but also the change in the rules, going to the federal Real ID license and even lawful presence for a regular license in Massachusetts. And that puts burdens on the consumers as well as burdens on the Commonwealth, and I think for all of us it's been a learning experience.
One quick aside having to do with driver's license, there's now a move afoot in some states to allow people to use X instead of male or female on their driver's license. Do you think is that a good idea? Will you support it?
We don't have a problem with that.
Be all right?
Yes.
This is championship town. The Celtics are a fun team to watch, haven't they not been?
The Celtics are a pleasure to watch because they are a great team with a capital T.
And it's such a rarity in the NBA to see a team. It's usually individuals that are stars in the NBA, but you put that machine out there.
The two big stars on the Celtics right now are sitting on the bench cheering on their team.
There you go.
Pretty interesting.
That's not bad. Governor Baker, thanks for joining us right now. You might want to stick around, Governor, because OTR's Chad Reinstein is talking about you.
Now challenged on his right, Governor Baker's difficult dance has gotten tougher.